What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and this one I want to break down what's going on with the overall market, what's happening during the pre-market, how this could affect the market going into open. I'm also going to break down some very important levels on Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, talk about what's happening with the economic calendar and how things are looking thus far. But before I begin the all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up with Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 6 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks, and $25,000 of a deposit guarantees you 70 free stocks, plus 12 months of level 2 data. Offer ends in just 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on with the market. So far, we're seeing the market rejecting off. We saw SPY reject off 460, cooling off just a bit. But we're going to be watching our support to see if we could hold. And then we're going to be watching our key levels, at least for the time being. I just want to remind you all that we have some more economic data coming out. The factory orders come out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And at 11:30 a.m., we have the 3-month and the 6-month bill auction reports. Now, when it comes to other pieces of news affecting the markets, we're starting December off. We had a very strong first day of December. Now the market's cooling off just a bit. However, I just wanted to warn you all that do not become overly bullish or overly bearish, right? We're not going to turn way too bearish. We're going to be watching to see where the market tries to base. And then going into the future, I still anticipate that there's going to be upside coming. Market's cooling off just a little bit, but I still think there's going to be a very, very nice bounce later on. And if the market continues to fall, I just see another potential buying opportunity for the end of the year squeeze that is still coming. Now, on top of this, Alaskan Air has agreed to buy Hawaiian Airlines for $1.6 billion. That is once again good news for them. And this is once again going to benefit the deals around them and the other dominant US markets. On top of that, Spotify is going to lay off 17% of its workforce, or 1,500 employees, which is some more big news. Gold prices have touched a record high. Once again, we're seeing that continuing to go up as demand has shifted, and this is some important news for those who are invested in that. And finally, just because we have a strong holiday shopping weekend, it doesn't necessarily mean that spending growth is just going to continue forever like this, but we actually saw the expectations topped by 8% as Americans continue to borrow money and take advantage of these discounts. Just be careful, guys, because borrowed money is not always something that's sustainable. So anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So if you look at SPY, we went over two possibilities. We said if this thing breaks 460, it's going to turn bullish and we're going to likely continue to break out. I believe that we're going to break 460 in the future over the next 1 to 2 weeks. I think it could still do that. But for now, we're actually cooling off just a bit. So watch the support right here. We just broke below 456.5. We're going to be watching this support. If we lose that, watch this orange trend line. That's where we had previous resistance. We had this previous resistance now becoming support. So it's going to be 455. Watch 455 as support. See if we can try to bounce very close to this area before it tries to push back up. If we lose this orange trend line, then we could turn a little bit more bearish, get closer to this like 453 area. But for now, it's holding up decently, and we're going to be watching the orange trend line just to see if this holds up for the time being. So watch this very carefully. We could cool off a little bit more, but watch and see if the buyers try to defend this trend line. There's a good chance they're going to try to do so. And then if we end up losing it, then you could turn a bit more bearish. But just know that even if we do see the market cool off a bit, there's more economic data coming out later. And later on down the line for the next few weeks, I anticipate more upside coming. Buying opportunities could be emerging. So I just wanted to call that out. I still believe that the market has upside coming later on. We could cool off super short term, but watch support just to be safe. Now on Tesla, I want to call out something. If you look at Tesla on the 4-hour time frame, we have this trend line. This white trend line is our support. The blue trend line up above is our resistance. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I think I had this right here. So I'm supposed to go to like the daily charts on Tesla. On the daily chart, because I think my lines got adjusted. It's the same thing essentially. Tesla's holding these supports very nicely. I'm going to adjust this back down to the 4 hours so you guys can see it again. But Tesla is basically still above this white trend line. We're still holding our support. There's no sign of Tesla breaking down yet and turning officially bearish unless we get a close below 230. Okay, so if we lose 230, I would turn bearish on Tesla. As of right now, we're still holding the trend line. So watch and see if buyers try to defend it. It could like retest 233 to 234. We'll see if this thing can bounce or not. If we close below 230, I turn bearish. If we manage to hold above this trend line, there's still hope and a good chance it's going to try to bounce. Okay, so watch that very carefully. It's going to be a very big test that's coming right now. If we manage to hold, if we test 233 and bounce and we close above like 236, 238, Tesla's going to be just fine. We could still be bullish. If we lose 230, then we could turn a bit more bearish. I think that we're just going to watch this trend line, and I think that we might see some buyers' attempts to defend it. So we'll just see where it closes for now. But as of right now, Tesla is not officially extremely bearish until we break 230. Nvidia is looking kind of weak right now, but I just want to call out that it's still holding a critical support. So if I go onto Nvidia's chart right here, you will notice that on the daily time frame, Nvidia has the 50 EMA that's trying to hold it up. We have 459.7 to 460 acting as our supports. We're looking very weak in the pre-market, but we'll see if Nvidia can try to hold this support. 459 is key for Nvidia. We have to hold 459 to 460. If we lose that on Nvidia, it's going to be sinking back down to 457.5. We have 455 below that. And if we lose 455, there's a risk of it coming all the way down to 450. As of right now, it hasn't actually officially broken our critical support right here at the 50 EMA. This has acted as resistance in the past. Now it's going to become support. So wait and see if the daily 50 EMA holds. It's going to be very, very key, guys. Watch that very carefully. And we'll see if that holds or not. But that's going to be a very, very key level. Now, on top of all of that, we went over Tesla SPY on the QQQ. We're at a critical level on the QQQ. This is cooling off just a bit during the pre-market thanks to Nvidia and these other tickers, but we haven't broken any critical supports to turn us into mega bears. We're still holding 386.8. Below that, we have 386. Make sure you watch that as support. Let's see if the QQQ could hold. Excuse me, sorry guys, 386. If we hold this and we see buyers step in, it's going to make its way back up to 388. If we lose 386, that's when we can turn it a little bit more bearish and we can see this thing start retracing back down towards like 385, 384.5 in these lower levels. 384 is going to be our next level if we lose 386. In my opinion, there's a good chance that we're gonna see this thing kind of shuffle around here, kind of shop a bit, and watch and see if we get a bounce back up towards this imbalance at 388.5 and then eventually 390, or if we just continues to sink right here because we're at support. So watch it very carefully. Do we drop more and lose this support and start sinking, or do we test support around 386 and then bounce? That's going to be key for today. We'll see what happens. Watch these wicks very carefully and see what the QQQ does. One could argue we have a head and shoulders like pattern, so it could cool off a little bit more. But like I said before, I see an end of the year squeeze coming, and I think that any dips that become bigger and bigger are just brewing in more buying opportunities. And for Aapl, Apple's actually not doing too horrible. It's actually just barely at support around. It's very close to 190 basically. If we lose this support right over here, you're going to be looking for a test of about 189. If we lose that, the next level is going to be around 188. And then if you look at resistance, we have 190. If we break that, the next level is going to be around this 191 area. Now, one could argue that we have like an inverse head and shoulders like pattern. Aapl might drop a little bit more towards like 189, then bounce, try to push right back up. There's a possibility of that, but just to be safe, we'll have to wait and see. So look for a potential drop right here and see if buyers try to defend it around 189. 189 is going to be key. If we lose that, 188 is going to be our next level. And if we lose that, we turn more bearish. As of right now, watch 189. Aapl could come back down here and then try to bounce if we do truly have an inverse head and shoulders. And we'll be watching it very carefully, at least for the time being. All right, guys, with that said, thank you all so much for listening. Hopefully this video was helpful as I went over many different levels and then broke down which supports to be watching for. Even if the market does cool off, okay, if we get more negative catalysts, don't forget that there's going to likely be more upside coming later, going into next week and beyond. Okay, so there are still opportunities. It's not too late. Take advantage of them and do what you have to do, guys. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.